Yo, what's going on, guys? Hopefully everybody's having a good day. If you're wondering where the hell I've been a bit busy. This week has been a bit hectic for me, but it's not really a bad thing. I was sick. I am sick. I feel like I have bronchitis. I've been to the emergency room a few days ago. I also celebrated my birthday recently. I went out to dinner with my family, so I've been a bit busy with that, just kind of relaxing. And as you guys know, or most of you know, my sister gave birth to a brand new baby girl. Her name is Adeline. She's beautiful, and the family is just staying close-knit. I apologize for not uploading too much. At the same time, I did want to upload like every single day, but every time I tried speaking, I could barely talk. I have shortness of breath at the moment, so it makes sense. It's better for me to not do the live commentaries and just do these post-commentary things that I can edit out any mistakes. So if you hear any like weird cuts, it's most likely because mid-sentence I just started coughing, but screw all that. Let's talk about this new update. The patch notes are out, and there's some exciting things, there's some good things, there's some bad things, there's some questionable things, but this is all about Titanfall 2. This is why we're here on this channel. So let's speculate, let's talk about all the new changes, and let's get ready for May 30th. So I'm going to read these patch notes from top to bottom, but I am going to mention the most important things. If it's something that I really think that I really can't speak on or I have no strong opinion about, I'm most likely going to leave it out. So if you want to see every single detail or every single patch note, then I'll leave the link to the patch notes in the description for you to check out in your free time. So let's get started. So the first note we see here is map Relic. We finally got the trailer or teaser on May 25th that showed off the map. If you are a veteran of the series, then this is no surprise to you. You already knew what to expect. But if you are a newcomer to Titanfall, I hope that you enjoyed that trailer and that maybe you got first impressions on what the map looks like. I think it's a good map. I think most people are going to enjoy it, but I wouldn't be surprised if some people have some issues with it. Now, I do think the map caters to a lot of different playstyles, so the people that like to play slower paced or more of a campier playstyle, I know they didn't really like Glitch, but I think they'll enjoy Relic more. And even if you do like playing super aggro, super aggressive, and using the movement mechanics all the time, you will also like Relic. It's designed in a great way. You know, there's long sight lines, there's also a lot of cover, there's flank spots, there's a nice middle ground spot where most of the Titan fights are going to take place, at least that's where I think they're going to take place. But this is all just speculation. We'll have to actually find out on May 30th. I hope you guys enjoy it though. And next up, new Titan Monarch. So we also saw that in the trailer. We got our first impressions from Monarch, at least for people that didn't dive too much into the leaks, and it looks cool. I got a lot of comments on that video or tweets from you guys saying Iniquity Monarch looks just like BT, and that's because they're both Vanguard Titans. This is verbatim from the website. Monarch's design is based on the salvaged, badly burnt remains of two Vanguard class Titans recovered by the IMC from the Battle of Typhon. They're both the same type of Titan or same chassis, so that's why they look similar. Just wanted to clear that up. And before this trailer came out, those of us that didn't want to pay too much attention to the leaks, we didn't know too much about Monarch, except for this little excerpt that was on the website. Monarch is a mid-range Vanguard-class Titan that can upgrade itself on the battlefield through her unique upgrade core. Pilots select a path of upgrades and try to survive long enough to reach her final form. Okay, so they're giving us, the players, an option or different options to upgrade her how we see fit, maybe depending on our playstyle, and she's a mid-range Titan, so she's not all up in your face like Ronin, she's not sniping us like North Star, she's designed to be a mid-range Titan, and now that we see this trailer, we have some idea of her abilities. So the first thing we see, or the first thing I noticed when Monarch dropped down onto Relic, was the chain gun. Now the chain gun is part of the campaign or the story mode, but it was also a fan favorite from Titanfall 1. It was very powerful though. It's a hit scan weapon, so I don't know what Respawn's gonna do with this. They might make it a bit weak, you know, because a chain gun, a hit scan weapon on a Titan can be very, very powerful. We know this like Legion, but Legion is designed in a way that where he's not gonna be too overpowered because he's very clunky. He turns around slow. He has to switch different modes like that. So I think they're gonna make the chain gun kind of weak so that Monarch doesn't feel overpowered with it. Now we see her in the middle part of the map. A few seconds later she runs out towards another Titan and she shoots out tracker rockets towards them. Now I don't think these are going to be like Tone's tracker rockets where you have to hit somebody 3 times to connect or to lock onto them. I think these tracker rockets are going to be like the ones in the campaign or the story where you hold the button down, you look at your enemies, you scan them, and then after like 2 or 3 seconds they lock on and then you can let go of the button and it fires. At least that's what I think it's going to be like. I could be wrong. The next part of the trailer, or the next thing they show us that Monarch can do, is very interesting to me. This is another excerpt from the website. Monarch also has an impressive ability to draw power from enemy Titans to recharge her own shields, or the shields of her friendly Titans. This sounds awesome, but it's also making me wonder, like, how is she going to be able to do this? And unless Respawn is keeping some secrets from us so the trailer isn't showing everything that Monarch can do, I'm pretty sure this next clip displays how Monarch saps energy from other Titans and steals their shields, or maybe she can do the same thing to her teammates and give them a shield as well. So if you end up blinking, you might miss it because it's like less than a second, but Monarch shoots out this arc lightning shot, and I'm assuming that's what the ability is. She probably takes the energy, and then she can choose to either give the shields to herself, or maybe she can keep that energy, find a teammate, and then zap that teammate or something like that. Maybe it'll give them shields. I'm wondering if it gives them full shields, or just like a quarter of a shield, half a shield. Maybe you need more energy to get a full shield. This is all stuff that I've been thinking about, like, before falling asleep. Like, how does it work? Respawn, please tell us. So I'm excited to test all this stuff out. Now, if you don't mind, I would like to rewind back a few seconds. I don't know if I'm looking too deeply into this trailer, or I'm trying to create things out of thin air, but just look at this. Before she runs towards the Titan and hits him with the arc zapper, whatever it is, like, some sort of light or energy emits from her body, and then it looks like she sprints a bit faster. Am I going crazy, or is that what it looks like to you guys as well? I'm probably going a bit overboard and looking too deep into the trailer, just creating things out of thin air, but if it is something that's true, I'm glad that I spotted it, and it sounds like a cool ability, but let's be real, it's probably not. The next thing in the trailer, we see Monarch executing another Titan, and mid-execution, you, or the pilot, gets out of Monarch, grabs the battery from the Titan that's being executed, then gets back into Monarch and gives her the battery, which is bad-ass, and it might be overpowered. Some people are worried about this, but at the same time, I know that when I play any other Titan besides Ronin, I don't really get a lot of executions because I don't find a lot of opportunities to get that close range. Unless I see somebody's doomed and maybe I have a flank on them, normally I don't get executions. I just shoot people when they're doomed. But if I'm Ronin, obviously, then I get a lot because I'm meant to be close range. So even though it sounds really cool, or it might sound overpowered that you get a battery from this execution, I don't really know how close or how often you're going to be close range to a Titan and get those executions of Monarch. I don't think it'll happen often. At the end of the trailer, they also show us a different execution by Monarch, so this means it probably has something to do with her upgrade core. Like, maybe you can choose a certain path that gives her that execution to steal batteries. So I guess if a player decides to take that path or that ability, then yeah, they'll have more of an incentive. Like, as soon as I see somebody doom, I'm gonna be like, oh crap, I need to get in close range now, and instead of shooting them, I need to execute them, but I also have to make sure they don't run away from me, because I'm sure players fighting Monarch are gonna know, hey, if I get executed, they're going to get a battery, so it's better off that I just eject or get out of my Titan immediately or just run away. So it's going to be a little metagame to it, and I think that's going to be fun. Next up in the patch notes, we see new content purchasable, which means we're going to be able to buy these things from the DLC store. And of course, we all know what it is. Prime Titan Ronin and Prime Titan Tone. Now, I didn't get to make a reactions video like I said for the trailer, but we did see these Prime Titans in action, and they're pretty damn sexy, I must say myself. So Tone finds Northstar, a doomed Northstar I guess. She shoots her twice in the chest. She stabs her with her 40 mil, body slams her onto the ground, and then shoots her or finishes her off with her salvo core rockets or tracker rockets, which looks dope. I'm not a big fan of Tone, or I wasn't in the past, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm inspired to play Tone Prime and test her out just to see how badass that feels in game while it's actually happening, rather than in the trailer. I hope you guys don't judge me. I gotta test out some Tone Prime. A few scenes later, we're introduced to this very lonely Legion who's, I guess, fighting another Titan or looking for another Titan to fight, and then he gets flanked by Ronin Prime. So Ronin appears out of a phase dash, then he kicks Legion in the torso, forcing knockback. He then slices him 6 times with his arc lightning sword. He steps back, winds up, and then uppercuts him, hence thunder and lightning, and I think it's a dope execution. Unfortunately for Respawn, a lot of people do not agree with my opinion. They're getting yelled at on Twitter, on forums, on Reddit and all that. A lot of people do not like this execution. They wanted something cooler, I guess, from Ronin Prime, so maybe in the future Respawn will try and make them happy with something new. But let me know what you think about these new Prime executions in the comments. I think most people are enjoying Tone Prime, but right now all the hassle, the controversy is with Ronin Prime. I'm in that boat where it's like, I think it's pretty cool, what's wrong with it? And then we have that really pissed off group of people who are probably outside of Respawn offices right now with picket signs and torches and voodoo dolls threatening Respawn employees, saying, if you don't change this execution, we're gonna boycott the game. People are really passionate about Titanfall 2, and it makes me happy. So let me know which boat you fall in. I would like to know. I would like to hear your opinions, but let's talk about this next thing. New execution, Now You See Me Cloak. So we were shown this execution in the trailer. Some people that I've heard on forums and stuff like that are like, oh, it's pretty dope, but I think most of us fall in that boat where it's like, it's cool, it looks alright, but it's not as cool as all the other executions that we've seen. So we see this pilot, he's invisible of course, he's flanking an enemy, he kicks the enemy in his ass, the guy turns around, he looks around real quick because you're invisible, he doesn't know that you're there, and then you stab him in the face. And like I said, it looks cool, it's not bad, but I was expecting something really fantastic, because the one with the grapple, the pole split execution, these are so cool. So I was expecting something over the top, and maybe just we didn't get that, and I'm okay with that. I just wish it was something better. What's interesting though is the requirements to unlock it. Get 10 pilot executions while cloaked. This is not counted retroactively, which means if you've gotten those executions while cloaked in the past, that does not count. What this also means is that on May 30th, everyone is going to be a cloaked pilot, and it's going to be kind of annoying, kind of fun, kind of chaotic, and it's just going to be insane. I don't know if it's going to be a good or a bad thing. It was kind of fun when everybody was going for the pulse blade executions, because everybody was running it, everybody had wall hacks, we all knew where everyone was, and we were also trying to throw our pulse blades at, you know, people in the face, which was funny. But now everyone's going to be cloaked and try and flank each other. This might be really annoying. I don't know what to expect, but we'll find out. We're also getting 5 new nose arts and 1 new war paint for a Titan. We're getting 20 new camos. Respawn, I really hope there's at least 1 new purple camo in there. I love the supernova camo. Everyone's always asking me in every video, Iniquity, what camo is that? It's so mysterious, what is it? And I have to tell them it's supernova every single video. But I am hoping that we get something new so I can rock that. Respawn, make like 10 new purple ones. I'll support you. I'll throw you 20 bucks, trust me. And then we're also getting 20 call signs and 20 patches. I joke about this in the past, but imagine if they actually gave us a purple army patch. That would be so sick. I don't think it'll happen, but one can dream, right? One can dream. Next up on the patch notes, I've mentioned this in my last video, but just in case you missed it, it's an update to Crash Site. Fixed around 100 instances of getting bumped, bonked, stuck, or tripped up. During the cleanup, we also wanted to experiment with more mobility options. To that end, we've added 8 zip lines to get around the map faster, and a few more wall running locations. So, basically in a nutshell, Crash Site is going to be made into a much faster paced map, and I'm looking forward to it. It should be fun. I hope they fixed every single instance that like annoyed us. When you were running up the hills, you would just get stuck and start mailing over one little tiny ass rock, and it was the most annoying thing in the world, but they seem to have fixed that, and I appreciate that. And now we get into the juicy stuff, the meat and potatoes, the stuff that everybody's asking for in patch notes, the game balance. Let's see what we have first. Titan meter and core meter are now gained when damaging shielded Titans. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I had no idea that when I shot a Titan that had shields, I never gained Titan meter for a core meter. So that's a nice change. I honestly had no clue. Respawn, I apologize. I guess I'm a bad fan. I wasn't even paying attention to stuff like that, but it's a welcome change. Next up, slightly reduce core meter generation from damage to compensate. This makes sense, and I understand why they're doing it, because now we're getting more core meter, but now we're getting less core meter for the damage that we do. This could be, I don't know for sure, it could be another nerf to Ronin. Even if it's a slight nerf, it might actually do that, because this is what happened last time. I don't remember if it was the last patch or the patch before, but this has happened in the past. They lowered the amount of core meter that we got for damaging Titans, and it was definitely a nerf to Ronin. Ronin mains all over the world had to readapt or adapt in the first place. They had to try out new kits and see what worked. Basically, relearn every single matchup with Ronin, because we didn't get our cores fast, and we weren't able to decimate people with the sword cores. So now, I don't really know what this change is going to be like. It says slightly reduce core meter. I don't know what slightly means to Respawn. It could be more than it really needs to be, or it might actually be something that is not even noticeable. This is just something that worries me a little bit, and I hope it's not too crazy. I don't want to have to learn everything all over again and adapt once more, but it is what it is. Next up on the list, we have Titan executions are no longer blocked by shields. A lot of people were complaining about this as if they always had shields on their Titan when they were doomed. I don't think this makes a big difference, but I understand why they're making this change. So with the addition of the new Monarch Titan, the whole meta is going to change, at least I think it will. And I think Respawn understands this, and they've done testing, and they realized they had to make this change. Monarch is going to be able to create these shields out of thin air, basically, by using that arc shot, laser shot, whatever you want to call it. She's going to give shields to herself. It's going to happen often. She's going to give shields to her teammates. She's going to fill in that supportive role that we've never seen before in Titanfall, and I think it'll be interesting, but it'll be a bit overpowered if every time you get doomed, you get a new shield from Monarch, and now you're invulnerable to execution. So I completely understand why Respawn did this. The last change that we see to Titans in this patch is for Ion, and this is making some people flip out. Laser shot now requires more energy, preventing you from double tapping opponents. Reduced laser shot damage, laser core damage slightly decreased. Oh boy, the internet has exploded. Ion was definitely overpowered, and I think everybody agreed on that except for probably Ion mains. They're probably a little pissed off right now. But I'm worrying that Respawn overdid it and over-nerfed her like the Volt was over-nerfed back in the day. I don't know for sure. We have to test this, obviously. I'm going to leave this to the Titan experts and see what they think about it. Right now, laser shot can be spammed. You can shoot it twice and you do an immense amount of damage, more than North Star could do with her sniper rifle, which is just ridiculous. And they changed that, so now you can only shoot one laser. Now you have to wait for your energy to come back before shooting it again. They also reduced the laser shot damage. I think this is a really good change, whether you were in LTS or attrition or doesn't matter. Ion's laser shot, if you were a good player with good aim, it was just impossible to beat you with that laser shot. Whether you were long range, medium range, close range, up in somebody's face, you could shoot that laser and do so much damage, and it never made sense. Like, there was never any real incentive to play North Star unless you just loved North Star and her design. Otherwise, you're better off playing as Ion because her laser shot does more damage than a North Star's charged railgun shot, and you also have nice defensive options as Ion instead of North Star, which has just a tether trap that gets destroyed by somebody sneezing. So in all seriousness, I think these are good changes, but I don't have numbers here. Respawn doesn't like to give us the specifics on their changes or nerfs or buffs, so I don't know if this is too much of a change or the perfect amount. So we just have to test it, see how she feels. I really hope it wasn't an over nerf and now everybody just, you know, never picks Ion again and finds something new to choose. I hope that she's in a good place now, but like I said, we just have to wait and see. They also lowered the damage for Laser Core. It says damage slightly decreased. Again, I don't know what slightly means, so we have to test it, but I do think Laser Core was a bit ridiculous. If anybody used the Grand Cannon kit, it was crazy. You could see like a full health Legion coming at you and just doom him in one Laser Core, which is just unfair. These cores should never been an automatic I win button, and some of them still are. It just shouldn't be like that. So I like to see this change. I think it's a good thing. Next up, we have Pilot Balance. They're adding a brand new kit to the game, which is awesome. I love seeing maps come back from the first game, but it's the best when they add fresh new content, new ideas, new Titans, new guns. So I like that we're seeing a brand new kit added to the game, and in the future, I hope we see a lot more. So this one is called Titan Hunter. Killing a Titan rewards 10% bonus to your Titan meter. And this is kit 2, so you have to either choose this over Kill Report, Wall Hang, Hover, or Low Profile. Now, Low Profile most of the time is my go-to kit. It's my favorite. I love being able to rodeo Titan and they have no idea you're there until the last second, and then by the time they pop smoke, you grab the battery. Now I might have to give that up for Titan Hunter and just test it out. I don't know if 10% is going to make a big difference, but it might. You know, it might be that one thing you need to get your Titan faster and take the lead in the game. So I think it'll be interesting. It's gonna be fun to test out. Finally, we get to talk about some gun balances. First and most important, the Volt. I think everybody's excited about this. Near damage and amped near damage increased, added a small amount of view kick. So they added some extra recoil so the gun wasn't pinpoint accurate, but its damage was increased. This is fantastic. Everybody's complaining that the Volt was complete and utter crap after that nerf a few months ago. I don't know how long ago it was, but now we might see it come back into play. It might change the whole meta up. I'm excited. It makes me really happy that this gun that nobody used anymore will see the light of day again. So Respawn, thank you. Next up, we have the Flatline. Damage and amp damage reduced to bring it in line with other assault rifles. I don't have the numbers, like I said earlier. I don't know how much they decreased the damage, but I hope it's not too much that, again, it was over nerfed. Respawn, you've had some practice with these buffs and nerfs now, so I hope you got better at this. I hope it's not another Volt over nerf. I hope that it's a good enough change that we still see people using the Flatline, but not too much that it ends up being worthless, because right now the Flatline has so much recoil, and it won't be worth it to use if the damage on it sucks. You know, I have to admit there were some times where I killed somebody so fast, or I got a multi-kill faster than I should have, just because I was using the Flatline and people died so fast on my screen. But then there were also moments where my reticle was completely on target, accurate as hell, like my best days of gaming. I happened to be using the Flatline, but I still didn't get the kill because the recoil just sends my bullets elsewhere. So the gun had pros and cons. It wasn't the most fair gun because it did kill very fast, but again, I hope they didn't nerf it too much. We'll have to wait and see. The next change is to the R201 and the R101, basically the same gun. Very far damage, slightly increased. People are very confused with this because the gun was already fantastic. It's probably the most popular gun that you're going to see on console besides the car, and the damage is already good. But the only thing they're changing here is very far damage. There's like 4 different types of damage in this game. There's near, there's medium, there's far, and there's very far. So they're only changing the statistics of the very far damage. I just smacked my headset. I hope that it wasn't too loud. And the gun I guess I could agree the gun took too long to kill people at very far damage. It took like 10 or 11 bullets at a certain range. So maybe at respawn offices are testing different guns and they felt that the R201 or R101 were taking too long to kill people at a certain range, and instead of 10 bullets or 11 bullets, maybe they're lowering it down to like 8 or 9. I don't really know if these are the numbers. I'm just guessing here. But the argument is that these guns are already fantastic respawn. Why are you buffing them even more? And I understand that. So the change is a bit confusing. Maybe they could have changed something else, maybe buff something else that really needed it besides the R201. But again, we'll just have to wait and see and do some testing. Next up, we have the Devotion. I was not expecting this. Damage and amp damage reduced. It should now require ramping up to be more effective than the Spitfire. I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't see a lot of Devotions out in the field anymore. I know when I get shot by them or killed by them, I still get annoyed, like, god damn it, I hate the Devotion, but I never thought it was that ridiculous anymore after the previous nerfs. But now they're going even further. They're nerfing the damage once more, maybe giving people more incentive to use the Spitfire or the L-Star. But in the end, I don't even think these LMGs are that great. I think you're still better off in like any situation using an assault rifle or SMG. That's just me, that's my opinion. You guys could agree or disagree if you want in the comments, but in the end, I guess it's a good thing. We'll see less complaints about the Devotion. That's always a good thing. Devotion is probably one of the main guns in this game that people complain about the most. So, Respawn, we appreciate you. The DMR is also seeing a change here. Amp DMR damage reduced to 80 for a body shot. Essentially what this means is that once you have an amp DMR, you can no longer one-shot people for the kill. It was the most annoying thing to be on the receiving end of that, so I like this change. Next up, P2016, near damage reduced, very far damage value added, reducing the pistol's damage at distance. So, the P2016. I was not expecting a nerf for this gun. I mean, honestly, it was a really, really powerful gun, and you could go into any game you want, any game mode, and use the P2016 as your primary gun and do just as fine with it. So maybe that was the issue. I think Respawn wants these pistols in this game to be your last resort. Like, you pop some shots off, maybe you miss some. Now your enemy is one shot. You have no more ammo left in your primary gun, but you don't want to waste time reloading or running away. So what do? You swap out to your pistol and shoot them like once or twice for the kill. I think that's how Respawn wants these guns to work. Instead of, hey, I'm going to play one full game with just the P2016 and destroy everyone. I don't know for sure if these are the reasons for the nerf, but I'm just trying to play devil's advocate here and see things from Respawn's eyes. You know, they're trying to balance the game and have it be fair for everybody, so maybe that's why. Next up, we have something that people have been waiting for since the game came out, I guess, or since the last time this gun was buffed. The R97, very far damage reduced. So finally, we're going to see some sort of a nerf for R97. The only thing is, I mentioned this earlier, there's different values for different ranges. Depending on where you are, the gun does different damage, right? So the only thing they're nerfing for the R97 is very far damage, which means it's still going to destroy and melt people up close and at medium range. You just won't be able to snipe as far with it, which is a good start. We'll have to do some testing and see if that's enough, but this is honestly, it's good. It's good that Respawn is listening to the community, and I think the R97 absolutely needed this change. So for now, that's the last gun balance that we're going to see. Next up on this list, we see Tactical Mod. Cooldown reduction per kill lowered to 25% from 35%. I don't know what this changes exactly because they're lowering it by 10% for Tactical. I know that when you get a kill with Grapple Hook and with Phase Shift, it pretty much automatically gives you a new charge of those two abilities. So maybe that won't happen anymore. I don't really know the math, so I can't really tell just by reading these stats. I need to go in game and just test it. But I know Tactical was one of the complaints a lot of players have, especially if somebody was really, really good with Phase Shift. They could just kill as much as they want. As soon as they thought they were about to die, they would just Phase Shift. As soon as they get another kill, they have another Phase Shift mod to use, and it just goes on and on, a bad train of events. So maybe this might counter that, I don't really know. Next up, we have Melee. Fixed issue with melee attacks not hitting near corners. Improved hit accuracy when there is a height difference between players. I know that the times when Melee annoys me the most is when I'm flying through the air, another player's flying through the air, I happen to be below that player, he gets a Melee kill on me, I look at the kill cam, and he was never actually looking at me on his screen, but because he pressed the Melee button, the game just like automatically shifts his view and auto-locks him onto me like the sword from Halo 2, and it just makes me salty as hell. So maybe they fixed that issue. Again, we're gonna just have to wait and see and test out these things. I don't think one little change like that could fix Melee overall. I think the Melee system just needs a complete overhaul and redesign, but this is a good start. And that is pretty much it. I definitely mentioned the stuff that I thought was most important and left out some bug fixes and balance changes. So if you want to see every single thing on this list, again, I'll leave the link in the description or in the comments for you to check out. But thank you for checking out the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you didn't hate listening to my sick voice, my coughing voice for 20 plus minutes. I appreciate you guys being here. Make sure you drop a like for me. I will see you tomorrow, and let's just get hyped, boys. May 30th, this new update is here. These new balance changes are here. We get to test out Monarch, the new Prime Titans, the new balance changes, the Volt. I'm so excited. I love you guys. I'll see you next time. Peace.